Fancy seeing you here in these parts, says Riot. Okay, right on, right on. Blah, 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 blah. The prologue doesn't really give us too much. If we're looking at the highlights, right? They're nerfing Kayn. It's not really nerf. Nerfing Lee, Rumble, and Riven. These are all things that we gotta watch out for. We're gonna talk about. Champions, Aphelios. He just got a buff in 11.12. And they are hitting him again with another buff. So he is one of the champions that has a really, really high skill cap. Very difficult to play, but if you play him well, you can just run through the game. And now they're giving him an additional buff. So passive bonus damage. Hitman and the Seer. Bonus damage is going just up one early. So up one every time you level it up. So at level 1, it's 5. Level 2, it's 10, 15. So it's incrementally one more. Q rank, 1 through 6. Lethality, more lethality. So more just flat AD and more lethality in his kit, basically. 6 more lethality at max rank on his E, which is crazy. Like, you don't really think of lethality on AD carries. But Aphelios, I always forget about this. He gets passive lethality. It's going to be getting 6 more. He'll have 27 flat lethality when you max rank that. And then bonus physical damage, he'll have 6 more at max rank. Crazy. Which, you guys might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you can just, like, max out one of those stats. Me, personally, I usually go for maxing out attack speed just so you can cycle through your guns a little bit quicker on him, but to each their own. Some people might like using him as more of a caster, and they do, like, the bonus AD and lethality, and they're going to feel this buff the most. And it might encourage people to shy away from the attack speed route in favor in leveling up more AD and lethality. We'll see. Kayn. So here's... It's not really a nerf. This is just a clarity thing. I don't know if you guys have experienced this. It's more prevalent with the blue Kayn or the assassin Kayn when he gets the blue form. But basically how it is right now on live, again, the patch is going live tomorrow, Wednesday, the 23rd. How it is on live right now, when Kayn uses his W from within terrain, you won't see the cast animation, you won't see the hitbox of it, so you'll just randomly get like slowed and take a lot of damage, and it's like kind of frustrating. So now they're adding the visual effect even when you can't fully see him, because typically when you're throwing a skill shot or doing damage like that, you're not gonna see that skill shot coming out, just simply because if it's in the fog of war, you're not supposed to see it. Like, that's the benefit, and that's the bonus of having vision removed from the enemy team when you're setting up for like fights and things like that. But because you don't have a real way of getting vision within terrain, a lot of those thicker walls, you'll have no vision on Kayn regardless. It's just a clarity, and this is the only one that's getting affected by that. Lee Sin, we're not really going to be seeing this too much, at least for me personally. I never max E on Lee. It's always my last maxed ability. Maybe I'm doing that wrong because E is super strong. But in the jungle, typically you max Q. I know a couple Lee Sin mains that put a couple points into E, but they are shaving some of the damage off on his later levels. 40 AD at max rank, but level 1, you're not going to see any difference. It's still a flat 100 damage, plus the AD scaling is still there, so it's fine. Olaf, health growth increase, so he's getting 7 more HP per level, which is pretty much the only thing that we need to talk about because everything else is just rounded. It doesn't seem like a lot, but League of Legends is a game of math, right? It's mathematical numbers. There's champions that are better in the meta, and the reasons why is because math. So Olaf, I didn't think that he was in a bad spot, and honestly, I'm going to look him up right now. U.GG. Olaf. U.GG Olaf has him at, across all ranks, 47%? Really? Dude, what? Okay, so he is in a bad spot is what this is telling me. Diamond, he's got like a 49.4% win rate, which is not terrible. But, huh. maybe he does need a buff. But anyway, so back to math. Olaf is getting 7 more HP per level. If you use your noggin and you think about what you can buy in the shop that has HP. So a ruby crystal is 400 gold and you get 150 HP. So we can quantify how much health is actually worth in gold. So gold is the currency that we use to purchase items. But if somebody gets free gold when they level up, so like health growth being 100 instead of 93, at level 10, you're basically getting like 200 HP, or excuse me, you're getting 200 gold value. Roughly, it's like 180 gold if you're using it as like 400 gold equals 150. I don't know. That's just what I think about. It's not gonna be a huge deal. If Olaf does start running away with games, you can still play Trundle into it. Trundle just dominates and like completely destroys Olaf because you alt him, right? His Ragnar, his R, similar with Sejuani or anybody that has Aftershock for that matter. You alt Olaf before he procs his ultimate, and then he alts and he loses all of his base armor and magic resist that he gets from his R from his own alt. In addition to what he's lost from Trundle, he ends up having very little armor and magic resist and he gets melted. So if ever you're struggling with Olaf, just play Trundle, alt him, focus him in team fights. He's not going to be a big deal. Riven. E base shield strength reduced. Thank goodness. She is too strong. 10 shield reduced at level 1. Not a big deal. This isn't going to be anything. It's just 10 flat reduction. So 10 less damage, which... honestly, because her E already has like good scaling and is up all of the time, you're not going to feel this. It's fine. Riven's still just going to be as strong as she is currently. Rumble. So this is a targeted Rumble jungle nerf. The common trend for Rumble right now is that you level up W at level 1. You spam that W button from base, so that you overheat the moment your buff spawns, and you get to take advantage of a passive, which increases your attack speed, does max health damage, and you just like wreck the buff, and your first camp is cleared really, really quickly. So this is gonna make it should make it impossible to overheat putting 1 point in W at level 1. Yeah, because even with the CDR runes, like you're like barely able to overheat. So having an additional second on your W, you're not gonna be able to overheat at level 1. So this will make it so that he's rounded out in the jungle. It's not a huge nerf. It just makes it so that he can't just one shot the level 1 buff. He has to do a regular clear like every other jungle. Sorry, Rumble, no more cheesing. Tahm Kench. So this is, oh my goodness. So this is basically a full rework. So we just got the Mundo rework. This is our Tahm Kench rework. Devour and R have been swapped. So his Devour is where he's able to consume an enemy champion or a ally champion. If he consumes an enemy, he does damage. An ally, he takes them out of combat, saves them from skill shots or targeted abilities, all the things, keeps them alive. But this is swapping his Devour and his R. So rolling down, let's see here. Base stats. They nerfed his base stats across the board, but reading through his kit, he definitely needs it. Also nerfed his passive, which is 2.5% max health per auto attack or per ability that he hits. So the passive, he applies at all times. It's 2.5 every time he hits basically anything. Tongue Lash has been updated though. You can now cast your Devour, which is now your R, so you won't get that till level 6, but you can now cast your R during the Tongue Lash, kind of similar to how you used to be able to do this with Scuttle, minions, all the things. You can now cast your Devour during your Tongue Lash animation to swallow champions stunned by Tongue Lash, so you still need to stack 3 stacks on the passive. But now you'll have a ranged way to stun somebody and devour them, pulling them back to your team, which is going to be just crazy, because this is going to be like worse than, like, you know how like upsetting and frustrating it is when Skarner hits you and suppresses you and pulls you back to the team? It's going to be like that. Or it'll be like a blitzcrank hook, basically, is my understanding. That's one heal of a tongue, new passive on his tongue lash. He now heals for 10% of his missing health. So even though he has like a little bit less on it, he's going to be healing a whole lot more. A bunch more. 10% of his missing health at max rank, 6% at level 1. And now his tongue lashes will apply the passive, the acquired taste. So they added that. It's now 40% slow, so it's a buff at level 1, but it's, you know, it doesn't scale up to 70%, and the duration goes down to 2 seconds. Cooldown starts at 7, scales down to 5, and then the mana cost also scales down with it. So having a little bit less... Oh, wait, he's going to have more mana growth, actually. Okay, so I thought that was just straight nerfs across the board. Okay, yeah, so he'll have more mana growth and less mana cost on his Q. That's interesting. His W, so change from his R. Abyssal Dive, he will now channel for 1.35 seconds, dive for 0.15 seconds, and then appear at the target area, dealing damage and knocking up enemies for 1 second. Hitting an enemy champion refunds 30% of its cooldown and mana cost. Tahm Kench can take devoured allies along for the ride. Enemies cannot see where Tahm Kench is headed until 0.75 seconds into the channel. So after 1 second, you can see where he's going to be going. But they only have... What is that then? Like half a second. Yeah, they'll only have half a second to get away from the area that he's channeling to. Interesting. Let's see. The cost is 60 at base, scales up to 120. We don't really have the ranges yet for Abyssal Dive, so his ult used to be pretty short range. That would scale up at max rank. You could travel a pretty good distance. Abyssal Dive might be similar to that, but we don't have the ranges on it yet, so we'll need to check back once this patch actually goes live. Thick skin, his shield duration is now 2.5, slightly increased to 10% maximum health per quarter second. Okay, and you have to wait 4 seconds after not taking damage. Interesting. So longer shield duration, a little bit more healing per second, but you have to wait a little bit longer for the healing to start. And here's the Devour. So they changed his W to his R again. The thing that's kind of nutty here, okay, so let's start with reading what it does for an ally. If it's an ally, the target is granted a 300, 400, 600 shield with a 100% AP ratio that lasts for 2.5 seconds after the Devour ends. So not only are you taking people out of combat that are in danger, they'll also have a 600 health shield with 100% AP ratio on it. Nutty. So spooky. The support ramifications and even top lane is going to be so good. You can also still do the Abyssal Dive if you use your R. We don't have cooldowns on this yet, so this is something that we definitely are looking forward to seeing. This should go live tomorrow, so we need to check back on our little catfish. See how he's doing on the new patch. Viego. I'm excited for these because I play Viego quite a bit in the jungle. So it'll be nice to him getting nerfed in lane, make his jungle viability a little bit higher. But all they're really doing is taking away healing from minions. Instead of having a 100% ratio, it's now a 50% ratio. Base bonus move speed is increasing, which is nice. 5% across the board. The missile speed, so how quickly the E comes out, is increasing as well. Missile zone length, so you can cast it from a little bit further to get deeper into a lane. So their idea is less sustain in lane, more move speed coming out of the jungle, so your ganks will be a little bit more potent, is how I understand them. Xayah, Q base damage per feather blade and maximum total damage increase, so just a slight Xayah buff. 5 more AD, level 1, 25 more AD, max level. Not a huge deal. Oh, the new items. So there's 2 new items that are for tank / bruiser that are coming out this patch, which I think are gonna upset the balance of the game significantly. Total cost for this item, right? It's 2,500 gold. It gives you 650 HP and 20 ability haste. But then the effect that we get, right? We get to choose a nemesis, and after 60 seconds, we gain a total of 30% damage reduction and 20% reduced tenacity while they're near you. So you debuff them, making them more vulnerable to CC, and you take 30% damage reduction. Nutty. I'm thinking top laners, even junglers, maybe a little bit. Like if you're planning on invading the enemy jungler often, or you're just planning on ganking a specific lane over and over and over again, for 2,500 gold, like let's say you're playing Zac, right? You want the HP, 650 HP and 220 haste. Nutty. You'll take 30% reduced damage from your Vendetta, your nemesis. So top lane, you get an item that gives you 30% reduction on your lane opponent. So you're split pushing against somebody, 30% reduced damage. That's crazy. Engage supports, yeah, Dolly. Engage supports are gonna be crazy good. It's so cheap. You put this on somebody like Leona, right? If they don't have any, oh wait, 20% reduced tenacity. I've just been thinking of it as like it gives them like negative 20%, but I wonder if it's like 20% reduced of their total. So if they have like 50 tenacity, it brings it down to 40. We'll have to check that out. But yeah, engage supports, phenomenal. Leona's gonna love this item. Oh, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so good. And even like in top. So top lane is an island. You build this item, you get a 30% damage reduction against your lane opponent. It only takes 60 seconds to build up a Vendetta. So like, you give up the first Drake, you give up the second, and then like third Drake and on when you're team fighting, you just put it on their carry, whoever it is, and you're gonna be taking 30% reduced damage from that person for that team fight. I think that's crazy. And then in addition, right, we've got this new item. And this new item, Hull Breaker. Build path, pickaxe, phage, plus 825 gold. Phage is, what is it, 1250? So that's like 2k, so like 2750. Or like 2850 is the total cost. They don't give us the whole cost here, I don't know why. Bad writing. 50, 80, 300 HP, and 150 health regen, in addition to 20 to 45 armor magic resist. And you deal 20% increased damage to towers. Large minions nearby also gain armor, mag resist, and deal 200% damage to towers. Holy moly. These mobility changes, right? Stride Breaker. 200 more HP, 5 less 80. Not a big deal. They remove the dash, which a lot of people, honestly, they need to remove the dash because there's champions that are built around being immobile. Garen, Darius, whoever else was building this item. Now it's going to be doing 100% AD with your halting slash though, and a 90% decaying to 40 over 3 seconds slow. Stupid. 5 seconds less on the cooldown. Still affected by ability haste. Less movement speed, less movement speed, less movement speed. That's fine. But still. Less movement speed across the board. Nothing to see here. A little bit more AP on Lich Bane. Nice. Less move speeds. More AP. Less move speeds. More HP. I like the Dead Man's change, right? It's not only 4 seconds to charge it up. You get less move speed, but you charge it up so much quicker. It's crazy. 1 physical damage per stack. Plus 100% base AD. What? That's crazy. Wait a second. Shipwreck on hit bonus damage. 1 physical damage per stack plus 100% base AD up to 40. We're gonna have to see how that goes on live. So at what point do you get the 100% base AD? Is it when you fully stack? We'll have to see. All right. Triforce, more AD. Less move speed. I'm noticing a trend. Defy heal, 15% relaxation. So they're buffing Death's Dance again. Okay. but no move speed from Death Stance. That's fine. Move speed down. So move speed is just down across the board is what they're telling us. Prowlers, you can only use it on enemy champions now. Thank goodness. Mana Mythics, I like this. Combined costs are getting decreased across the board. Basically just 200 across the board, right? So the mana one. So Luden's cheaper, Liandry's cheaper, Everfrost cheaper. Everfrost, honestly, with the cost that it is right now, I might be considering taking that on Nidalee. Or potentially Luden's. Liandry's too. Yeah, I might be doing AP Mythics. I already do Luden's on Talia, so Talia's gonna be feeling really good with that change. I like it. Moonstone Renewer, more healing. There you go. Divine Sunderer, 3% less damage if you're playing ranged. Yeah, Everfrost was arguably the strongest AP Mythic. Yeah, just because the bonus AP and the active was strongest too. Nimbus Cloak getting pulled off a little bit too. Less move speeds. Ghost Poro is very, very rarely taking the domination streak tracking slot. We're buffing up this Poro to better rewards player playing for vision. I'm still not gonna take Ghost Poro. I don't like it. We're not doing it. Yeah, active skill really hard, but you have to choose when to use them. I like Luden's because it just procs every 10 seconds. I'm like, oh yeah, there you go. There's another one. You did. Crazy. Turret update. In recent seasons, top and bot inner towers haven't been a strategic objective due to their lack of value, literally. Whereas in other objectives on the map. To tackle this, we're making these turrets takedowns more rewarding so that players are encouraged to look for leads in the side lanes, and split pushing remains a viable, exciting strategy across all levels of play. This advantage should also help the split pushers feel like they have more agency to snowball into a big old threat that can't be ignored. Inner turrets and side lanes, top and bottom, now grant an additional 250 local gold. All turret inventories now show how much gold they give once destroyed. So 250 more gold on top and bot towers. That's interesting. Challenging and Chilling Smite gives junglers early access to true damage against minions, which is especially punishing to early ranks of ultimate summoned pets like Tibbers, turrets, daisies, and maidens of the mist. We're adding a damage modifier to Challenging and Chilling Smite so that smiting pets can still remain a strategic choice for junglers throughout the game. But they aren't able to completely obliterate low rank ultimate pets as soon as smite upgrades. Damage to minions 500 plus 10% of target's max HP. Okay. Yeah, monster damage remains the same. This is just for pets. Interesting. Okay. And then ARAM changes. We don't care about those. Nice. So people to look out for, right? People to look out for. This new Tahm Kench looks like he's going to be kind of nutty. The new items are going to make split pushing way more viable and way more painful. Like, more gold to incentivize split pushing, and then they have two items that I think arguably are going to make split pushers very potent. So, watch out for Fioras, watch out for Shens, watch out for Sets, watch out for, I don't know, anybody that can build AD in the top lane. Tryndamere, oh my goodness. I mean, nutty. Crazy. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah. Guys, make sure you swing by the channel to catch us live sometime. If you have questions during the patch notes, we welcome them. You want to talk about stuff? I'm all ears. Comment down below, do the things. And we'll see you next time.